Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to my channel. And now it's the Spring Festival here in China. Everybody has to go home to visit their parents. And now I am standing in a piece of land. This is my hometown where I was born and raised. And this is the place where my parents has been living for the past 50 or 60 years. So today I'm gonna share with you what the real life is in the countryside here in China. Now I'm standing in a piece of land. So this place is in Shanxi province, and maybe you know the city of Xi'an, which is a very big city here in the northwest part of China. And this place, Longxian, the Long County, alright, it is like 250 kilometers away from the city of Xi'an. Because the sun is shining, I have to wear my sunglasses. Excuse me for that. So here in China, you got counties like this. You got over 2,000 counties like this. And for every county, there are about 200,000 populations. 5 years ago, the population was like 250,000. But now the population is declining. Because you know that young people are not willing to get married anymore because of the pressure of money. In this county, there is over 1,000 villages, and in every county you got a downtown area. So the place where I'm standing is just like 1 kilometer away from the downtown area, and you can see behind me the tall buildings are the downtown area, and it's like a 6th or 7th tier city here in China. And I'm gonna show you around that area later. And first, let me show you around what the countryside is like. In this place, the main crop is wheat. Now it's January and it's winter time. Behind me is the piece of land where people grow wheat. This is the land where most people choose to plant wheat. In the winter time, the average temperature is like below 0 degrees centigrade. So the land will look a little bit dry, but in the spring, this area will be full of greenery. So villages in the northern part of China are totally different from those in the southern part of China. In the southern part, the temperature is not that low, and you got a lot of waters all year long. You can see the greeneries all over in the south, but here in the north, things are different, especially during the winter time. So in the past, people just work half a year. The spring, the summer, they start to take their days off, because in the winter you have nothing to do. But now people have more choices. You could choose to work in the downtown area over there, or you could choose to go to some other big cities like Xi'an to do more jobs. Behind me are the houses people built 10 or 15 years ago. As time goes by, there are just fewer and fewer people living in the villages. Just the old prefer to live in the village, and their children will choose to live in big cities or the downtown area. And most people here in China, they focused very much on their children's education. They're trying their best to send their boys or daughters to universities and hope that they could settle down in big cities like Xi'an, Beijing, or Shanghai to find a good job and try to get a car and buy an apartment. You can see this is the land where people have planted corns. So in front of me, this is the old area where I was born 37 years ago. I'm gonna show you around the houses. Now there are no people living in this area. This is a pretty large area. So you can see in the past, the walls made of dirt. These houses, I think it was built 60 years ago. 60 years ago, there were no bricks. People just built their houses with the dirt. But this kind of houses will last for many years. So you can see it is still here. Let's keep moving. So when I was little, when I was in high school, all right, junior high school, I used to live in this area. And everybody knew everybody during the past. In these four or five houses, there were like over 40 people living here. My dad, my mom, my grandpa, my grandma. Life was a little bit hard during that time. 30, 40 years ago, sometimes people would be starving. It is a traditional gate. Maybe 5 years later, this place will be tall buildings. So that's why I am doing this video. And there's a big tree here, and this is a place where there used to be a bathroom. Actually, it was not a bathroom. It was just a outdoor toilet. This is the area where we used to raise the animals, the pigs or the chickens. Let's keep moving. Well, it's been several years since I come here. This is the place where my grandpa and my grandma used to live. All of the houses were built with dirt, no bricks. You can see a few bricks over there, but during that time, people were not that rich. Most of the houses were built with dirt. All right, let's go that way around. The friends, the relatives who used to live here all moved to some other places, like in the cities or in the downtown area behind me. And their kids, most of them are living in big cities. All right, let's go around this way. So the place where I'm standing is like a cliff. That is the valley where people live. All of the tall buildings were built like 10 years ago. In the past, 20 years ago, there were a few buildings like this. Let's keep moving this way. All right, so this is the place where my grandpa's younger brother used to live. They had a big family, and there are over 10 people living in this place. Now we are here. So this one is the house where I used to live. And I got my dad, my mom, me, my elder sister, 4 people living in this tiny house before 2002. Now 20 years has been passed. Check it out. All of the houses were built with dirt and the wooden door. People used to have the locked like this. This is also the place where my grandma, they used to live. Now it has been abandoned. The distance between where we used to live and where the land was is just like 2 or 3 meters away. In the past, people grow wheat in the autumn and harvested in the spring, and we just fed our families by our own. And after 2002, we moved down into the valley. We built new houses. So this area, we call it the past. Sometimes you cannot imagine how life was during that time, 40, 50 years ago. And my grandpa told me that 50 or 60 years ago, sometimes they had nothing to eat. So they collected the vegetables we have planted here, and my grandpa shipped the vegetables with a donkey into the deep mountains to exchange for some food, mainly the wheat and the corn. Now no one is starving anymore. I'm using GoPro to shoot the video. I'm using the latest iPhone 15 Pro, and I'm driving Tesla Model Y. Sometimes you feel that, wow, things have changed so fast. Maybe 5 years or 10 years later, this area will no longer exist. That's life. That's how life goes, right? And I went to university in 2006 in Xi'an. And I was the first in my family in this area who went to university. And I was the only one in my family who can speak English and who have traveled all over the world. I'm not here to brag. I mean that life goes on, right? 60 years, 70 years later, maybe these trees are still here. Because now the government focus a lot on the environment protection. And this is the road for the people to work in the land. It'll be very convenient for them to drive the cars around to do some work in the landfill. So that place, you see that crossing over there? 300 meters away. That's the graveyard where my grandpa was buried. My grandpa passed away like when I was in primary school 30 years ago. And my grandma, she's still alive and she lives over there in that house. I'm gonna show you around later. And this is the life for my grandpa's generation. Most of them were just working the land, fed themselves, and buried in the land where they have lived and worked. In their point of view, the most important thing for a man is to get married, have children, to hand down the heritage they have left from generation to generation. For most of the young people, they don't think there are any heritage they could get from their previous generation because life is changing so fast. And my mom and my dad are still living in the houses built 20 years ago. In the future, 10 years later, 20 years later, when they are not here. Maybe this is the hometown that I will never get back. Sometimes you just feel very sad when you think about this. Your life is getting better, you drive a nice car, you use a nice phone, but things have changed. People are not here anymore. Let's keep moving. So you can see for that kind of houses, these houses were built 10 or 15 years ago. For some families, if they are rich, they will have 2 floors. Most of the family has 1 floor. And for the tall buildings far away like that, those ones over there, they were built like 8 or 9 years ago. For most of the young people, their first choices would be to stay in the big cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Suzhou, Xi'an. But you know that in big cities, it got a lot of pressure. It's very expensive for you to buy an apartment. Some of them will choose to come back to the village or to come back to the county to buy an apartment over there because it's way much cheaper. So in this county, if you're going to buy an apartment, the average price is like 300,000 RMB for a 100 square meter apartment. You got 3 bedrooms, you got a kitchen, you got a bathroom. And for these kind of houses, which was built 20 years ago, it cost 50 or 60,000 RMB because everything was cheap at that time. But now things are getting expensive. On my left, that is the main road to the train station. It would take you like 3.5 hours for you to go to Xi'an. And that place, the newly built areas where you got a highway to different directions. If you drive, it would take you like 2.5 hours to go to Xi'an. The transportation is pretty convenient now, no matter where you live here in China. Let's keep moving. These are the houses built 15 or 20 years ago. All of them are built with bricks. If you're a rich family, all right, you could cover the houses with the ceramics like that. And now in the village, we got electricity. 15 years ago, we got internet. Everything is just so convenient. It is very easy to get around. On my right, this is the house of my dad's younger brother. On my left, this is the house where my parents are living now. That's the solar panel water heater. But now people are using the electricity heater inside their houses. It's typical in every family. And this one is my grandma. She lives over there. My grandpa passed away 30 years ago. All right, I'm gonna show you around the places where my parents live. It's pretty quiet to live in this area. This is the cat I got 3 years ago. So one of the problem living in the village is that there is no sewage system. You have to take care of it by yourself. But if you are living in the downtown area, you got everything. Got the sewage system underground. 5 years later, 10 years later, there'll be no villages. Every place is a city. That's the heater. All right, during winter, the temperature getting low. We use this to keep the house warm. This house was built in 2002. You got a 3-bedroom, 1, 2, 3. This was a storage place. This is pretty much of it. Up on the hill, that's the past. Now this place is also the past. 5 years later, that place will be the future, where most young people will choose live in that area. So I think that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.